Hello, everyone,
I'm Melina,
and I'm Aditi. Welcome to an episode of
yakking about Bojack.
Yes, welcome to another episode of Yakkin About Bojack. Today we're doing
Christmas
with Bojack.
Woo!
So we're doing the Christmas special. There's only one Christmas special, and it does come in 2014, right after season 1, which we have officially finished.
Woo! So if you have not listened to it, please go listen. We had an epic finale last 2 weeks ago with the finale. So yes, check it out. And because now it's all just fun and games with Bojack and Todd and candy canes.
This episode was definitely a lot less stressful, I think, than the rest of the season. Lower stakes, more fun. Plus, it was a sitcom, so everything gets resolved in half an hour, right?
Yeah, and also one thing I noticed in Bojack Land, does it not snow in Christmas over there? Like,
It's Hollywood. It doesn't
does
snow
it?
in Southern California.
Oh, right, it's Hollywood.
Oh, sorry, no. We got it wrong, Melina. It's Hollywood.
Hollywood. Do they ever get the D back?
I can't tell you that, but right now it's Hollywood.
Fine, Hollywood is not snow. I
Yes,
guess.
exactly.
I'm too used to snow around here.
Yeah, is very. We get a lot more snow. Anyways, Christmas. I think it's a tradition for so many Hollywood sitcoms to have a Christmas special. This one's called Sabrina's Christmas Wish. Melina, do you want to do the summary this time?
No, not really. I like listening to your voice.
I was gonna be like, let's change things up. I just put you on the spot. No, that's fine. It's fine. I will do the summary. It's the most wonderful time of the year. It's Christmas. Todd convinces Bojack to spend some holiday time together rather than alone. See, Melina, we're spending time together. They watched the first Horsing Around Christmas special. I assume it's the first because it's Sabrina's first Christmas, right?
Yeah.
And it's called Sabrina's Christmas Wish. But in the episode, Sabrina has never had Christmas before. She's the youngest of the 3 orphans that Bojack has adopted on the show. He's just called Horse. They just refer to him as Horse.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, I was confused. Like, when they just called him Horse. I'm like, isn't he supposed to be your like dad? Like, what? Why are you just calling him Horse?
I think because he's their adoptive dad, they refer to him as Horse, and I think Horse is his name on the show.
Oh, I thought he. For some reason, I thought he was gonna be called Bojack on the show.
No, I think that's just his like, which is kind of silly because that just seems like lazy writing that his name is Horse on the show, you know?
Because I remember when they first brought it up, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, like people like his." I think there was some like conflict with like him at the office and how he was like there was because he wanted to get promoted or to
Yeah.
partner or something, but then they
Yes.
were like, "Oh, you're like a horse adopting human kids."
Yes.
And I'm like, I guess he's a horse. Well, first of all, I need to see everyone else. Like, maybe there's a cat here. Is there a weasel here? Is he the only horse that works here?
Yeah,
Like,
it
what's
seems
going
like
on?
TV, strangely enough, in their world is like there's a huge bias for human characters. Like to me, it kind of seems like how we talk about representation, like animal representation is really required to a point where the non-human character has to, first of all, that's the reason there's a pun for the show. The fact that he's non-human actually makes it really big, and his name is just the Horse.
That horse.
The
And
Horse.
he just like neigh anytime.
Yeah, and it also makes me think about like the timeline of this world. Like, how recently have humans become sentient that like some of these puns make sense? I don't know. Or then it's like weird that he. Anyways, it's so much about this is strange.
Yes, it is. But in this episode, like we got to get introduced to the characters, like the 3 kids and like what
3
Bojack
little
Horseman
orphans, 1,
horsing
2,
around.
3.
Oh, that's the opening song.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I definitely do love the original Bojack intro, and I think that was missing from this episode, Melina.
Well, that's because it's supposed to give it a lighthearted theme.
True. But I feel like just that I actually listened to the Bojack intro. It's by Patrick Carney from the Black Keys and Ralph Carney. and they actually created it specifically for the show.
Hmm.
So it's really cool and it's really hypnotic, and I kind of miss that. But I do love the Three Little Orphans. One, two, three. Um, Melina, what did you think of the Three Little Orphans?
Three Little Orphans were they were interesting. So we got the oldest one, Olivia.
Yes,
She's supposed to be, I think, the stereotypical teenage girl at the time,
yes.
like with like.
She wanted to get with the her with one of the high school boys, ride on a motorcycle.
Mhm.
Um, she speaks with a very Valley Girl accent, very 80s, 90s.
Mhm.
I think what's a stereotype at that time?
Mhm. Mhm. And then she's sort of like a, I think like a kind of act tries to act like a daddy's girl to both. Like I don't know, like I got those kind of vibes from her. But
Oh yeah, but I don't like. I feel like Daddy's Girl also might have negative connotations, like she's
uh,
spoiled by her dad. But I also feel like I don't think Bojack's really spoiling her that much. I do feel like Sarah Lynn's character, Sabrina, gets
mm,
spoiled the most. Spoiler alert, she's the third little orphan of
mhm.
the one, two, three.
Which makes, I think, in a lot of like the generally when you think
Hmm.
about children, generally the youngest is the one that gets spoiled the most. I think
Yes. And Melina and I are both the
youngest.
yes. Why are you acting surprised?
Like we are. That is true. I would not say I was spoiled. I
Yeah,
don't think I
neither would
was.
I. I think it's because we're not in a pack of three, Melina. That's why. If we were in a pack of three, we would have been spoiled. If we
True,
were the
in a
youngest
pack
of
of
three.
two.
Yeah, in a
In a
pack
pack
of
of
two.
two, the second is usually ignored.
In a I don't think you're usually ignored. I think that I do think I was given a little bit more leeway than my sister was, but like I didn't feel that big. It's fine. My sister could probably write in and complain about this. Sorry. But no, I do think that poor Ethan, he's the middle one. He was the butt of so many jokes. I just don't think that was fair.
I think he was supposed to be the stereotypical, like, a nerdy, not funny at the time, like,
Yeah,
quote
like
unquote
nerdy,
loser thing,
look, quote unquote loser, which I
character.
hated about the 90s shows where they really picked on the nerdy kids. And I was like, I'm the nerdy
Yeah.
kid. I don't want you to pick on me. This is so mean.
Apparently it's changed now. I was listening to,
Hmm.
I think there's like a YouTube channel called The Take.
Yes. Oh, I watch a lot of their videos too. Yeah.
Okay. And I listened to one recently. It was about how like the most recent generation with like everything. It's kind of like the all the tropes have changed. And
Yes.
it's sort of like now the nerdy kid who used to be like, laughed at and stuff, they were laughing stock. Now they're kind of like considered the cool ones and like this
Yep.
the like people to go to kind of like
Yeah.
people very TikTok and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, because I feel like
Uh-huh.
now that tech has become so prevalent, it's like in the 80s and 90s, if you were someone who's like on the interwebs, you were like weird. But now
Mhm.
it's so commonplace to be on the internet that that is cool. You don't necessarily
Mhm.
have to be nerdy to be on it though. But yeah, I can do see how like knowing tech is a cool thing.
Mhm. But sadly Ethan was not in the time. So
Yeah, poor Ethan. So like they made fun of him in two ways. One, in the intro sequence, they were just like always hitting on like I think Bojack sprayed him with water so he looked like he peed himself, hit him with a
uh
ball, and I was like, okay, that seems so mean. And then they were making fun of him for all of his jokes, which I thought were insightful sometimes. I'm not sure. But I did hate his catchphrase, yowza yowza bobowza.
Yeah, whoever the writers for that show, I was like, why?
I think the
Like,
writing was pretty good. I feel
it's
like
just
that
that specific line. Like,
maybe. Melina, if you were to come up with a catchphrase, we could have one for this podcast right now. What would your catchphrase be?
how to think about that? But like, because they also gave a catchphrase to Sarah Lynn. The
That's too much, man.
yeah, and everyone apparently loved that. The
That
audience,
yeah,
oh my
that is
gosh.
100% what they did for Full House. So much of the show like copy paste from Full House.
Mhm.
What was it in Full House? Mary Kate and Ashley's character, because they shared one, like the twins shared one baby character, and she would say, "You got it, dude."
Throw back to episode 2 if you haven't listened to it.
Oh,
Or it
did
was
we
episode
mention it in
3.
episode 2 or 3?
Episode
Yeah, I
3,
think
I
we
think,
mentioned it.
yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, I think that was just a copy paste, and I don't know why that was always so funny. My mom loved that. She would watch that show with me. I think it has to do like 9 times out of 10 about how cute the youngest kid is.
I guess so. Like, it doesn't matter what they say. Like maybe if Sarah Lynn was the one who said Yao Bao's or whatever that thing. I can't even say
Melina,
it.
how could you clearly not get Yowza Yowza Bobauza? It
maybe
is
if
so clear.
maybe if Sarah Lynn said Yowza Yowza Bao's, everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh, that's adorable!" Ha ha ha.
Maybe, but I also think it's kind of like, in The Big Bang Theory when Sheldon says, Bazinga, did he write that himself? Like, I don't know. It's just, I think there has to be something snappy about it, right? Like, I think Yowza, Yowza, but even it's too long. It's got to be snappy.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask if you can
sure.
think of something snappy to use.
Not in the next 10 seconds. No.
Okay. Wow. I thought you could write on the fly. Clearly, Melina, you're not going to be doing any freestyle rap anytime soon.
This is why I don't do improv. Okay.
I thought the secret to improv was just yes and.
Well, I have been to a few improv sessions, but they were all these strange, like acting, like
Hmm.
bodily movements, like throwing energy around things.
Yeah. I think
Oh,
that
okay.
helps. That kind of sounds like stuff you do to loosen up before you do like public speaking, right? Like you're
Okay.
like loosening up. Um, I
Okay.
can see how that could help, but
I guess.
maybe we should take a break right now. Take a little pause. We can go doing these exercises, and then we'll get back to the audience with our catchphrases.
Or maybe the audience can come back to us with a catchphrase, and then maybe it'll be featured in our future episode.
Listeners, if you have suggestions and you think you can do better than Yowza Yowza Babowza, that's the bar. Please write us in on our Instagram, on our Reddit. These are our plugs. Let us know, and we'll say it. Season 2 is coming up. It's a fresh start. Melina's gonna have a catchphrase, and you can make one for me as well. I'm down. Would love to have some fun new catchphrases.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with the bar at Yowza will be great.
The character of BoJack himself, he was so it's actually pretty funny. Like when you compared
Yes.
BoJack in real life to compare to when he was watching the show, like he was
Yes.
so grumpy with Todd.
Yeah, he was super grinchy. Super grinchy. But I loved him as the horse on the show. I think the writing, and I don't know if Bojack, I guess he's a good actor because I liked him. Did you like the horse on the show?
He would. I felt that the horse was kind of like what he in real life kind of aspired to be.
I
Like it
see.
was like this like great dad character, which we actually did see back in like maybe I think episode 11, where he like imagined being with Charlotte and then having a kid. Like,
Oh, yeah. I think that was actually
hmm
episode 10 where he went on the drug bender, right?
yes,
Something like that.
something like
And he
that.
wanted to be like Harper and be for his imaginary child Harper. He wanted to be there. He wanted to be present. Um, But it also kind of reminds me of like when Sarah Lynn came in. I think that was episode
Mm.
3, Prickly Muffin.
Mhm.
And he really wanted to kind of like relive being a dad on Horsing Around. And I can see why, because like the way it was written and the role he was playing was
Mhm.
actually really nice. Like he was, he ultimately tried to do something nice for her, tried to make her like Christmas. But in the end, I was shocked that this episode, spoiler alert for Horsing Around, but it ends with him literally telling Sarah Lynn there's no Santa, which is a bold move for a family friendly show. Okay.
I mean, was it family friendly? Like a lot of the, I guess I don't know what their age, what their target
Hmm.
audience was. Um, because
I think
even
it's this,
the,
yeah. No, go on.
because even like when he was telling Sarah Lynn about like, before saying like Santa did not exist, he was all like, Santa had your parents die so I could be your parent kind of thing. Or was that who Sarah Lynn was at?
I believe Horsing Around is based on shows like Full House. In
Okay.
Full House, they have a dead mom, and the dad is
Ah,
taking care of the kids. And so there's a
okay.
dead, parent.
Mhm.
And they talk about it, and it's rated TV G.
Maybe they're like, if we don't have two parents, it's gonna be a not that's where all the drama. Well, they don't make drama from that. I was gonna say
No,
like,
but I think it was really
hmm,
common in the 80s and 90s. There's a lot of shows that derive from like,
yeah.
just taking care of your kids and having one parent and then the neighbors get involved. There are so many family sitcoms
I don't know
that are
why.
just
Hmm.
I don't know. Now it's like I think the shift started happening in the late 90s to early 2000s to Friends, to How I Met Your Mother, to Big Bang Theory, where it's about friends living in a city by themselves.
Hmm.
No longer about families, you know?
The adults are not cool. That's all. That sucks.
Yeah, and those are definitely a little bit older because they talk about way more mature concepts,
Hmm.
right? But then there were still like
True.
family sitcoms, like Modern Family is still a thing that was around, but it's a very different format.
Hmm. That's true.
Hmm.
But I guess, and we don't know what. Yeah. But horsing around is.
I think Horsing Around
Yeah.
is more like Full House.
Hmm.
It's a little bit more like Cosby Show. Trying to think of some of the other examples, but I feel like it almost perfectly fits in that Full House genre because of the "That's too much, man" and the "You got it, dude."
And the Yao. I can't even say it. It's so
I
long.
I don't think a character had Yowza Yowza Bobowza, but there was a character. You know when they say "Go home, Goober,"
Okay.
right? There was a character on Full House called Kimmy Gibbler who was their neighbor and would just show up all the time, and they would all be like, "Oh my god, leave!" And her name was Gibbler and
Hmm.
Goober, so I think that was on purpose.
That's easier to say. Go home, goober. Than.
Then
Yowza,
Yowza
browser,
Yowza Bobowza. Yeah, that was you're
browser.
right. Go home, Goober is a way better catchphrase.
I'm just gonna stop trying to say it because I cannot say
Melina,
this.
we can say this together. You ready?
No.
Yowza,
Yowza.
Yowza,
Yowza.
Bo,
Bo.
Bowza. I don't know what you're talking about. It's so catchy. Oh my
Cannot put
goodness.
together words.
No, it's a bad catchphrase. No, speaking of Goober, um when we were watching the show, how did you feel about the fact they kept like going back to Bojack and Todd watching it in person?
Mm, I didn't mind it. I think it was hilarious, like how BoJack like was just like, oh my gosh, I said something like that, or like as in like not like he felt that he did it bad, but more in the sense like this is so stupid, this premise and everything, like what is going on here, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that was it was nice to get his insight. It also was kind of jarring when he would tell you about the behind the scenes or the reality, like he mentioned with Goober, or was it Todd who mentioned with Goober that he basically had allegations, right? Did I write that down? He molested the
Yeah.
little and I was like, "Oh my god." And it was just like a reality check of like you're seeing TV right now and it seems so wholesome. You even like BoJack on this TV screen even though
Hmm.
Melina you find him obnoxious, remember. And it's just the contrast between what we see on screen and like how they actually are and their behavior off screen is so
Hmm.
vastly different and unacceptable, even though they
Hmm.
have this sort of acceptable facade that we see almost every day in a digestible format, through our TV screens.
Hmm. And like because we like BoJack came out with problems. Goober came out with problems. Sarah
Yeah.
Lynn came out with problems. We don't know about the other two kids
Yeah, we haven't seen
yet,
them.
but
Hmm.
probably also came out with problems unless they marry each other, which is something that happens, I guess, as well. Like if they met on like a set and then they spent a lot of time together,
Yeah.
and then it's like then you start developing feelings for each other.
So why would that be a problem?
Oh, it's not a problem. I'm just saying like they could have become married. I mean, some people might be like, marriages should not be. So I guess some people can say
Wait, I'm
like,
so confused how we got here, Melina. Wait, you're saying
not
how,
related.
everybody on the set in some way or another, they has some baggage coming out of the show, this
Yeah.
9-year running show. And how did we get to them being married?
Oh no, no, I was gonna say they might have come out with baggage too, and then we just didn't know. And then I was like, or maybe they got married, and maybe something good came out of this show.
Oh, because you're saying the marriage won't be a good thing.
Could be. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it could
feel
also be a
like
bad thing too.
yeah, it could be a good bad thing. You're not right. They could have like happily met someone on the set, and you don't know. There was a lot of staff and crew that probably are fine, right?
Although I guess to be fair, they were kids at the time, and most of the stuff would probably be older.
Yeah, older.
Mm.
So like there's several things, you're right. Like positive things could happen in the show. It does seem like out of the show there was a lot of negative stuff and baggage. I think Goober or the actor who acted as him was just a like he is still responsible for his actions. I don't think the
Mhm.
show necessarily made him um like it's like, oh, it's the show's fault that he like
Mhm.
assaulted and molested those
Yeah.
women. Like I'm not going to say that, but I do think like this was one, it was jarring, and two, it's really frustrating to hear that so often, like the power that people get
Mhm.
also on TV makes them
Mhm.
on a platform, and I think that people abuse that power, which is so frustrating because it really makes
Mhm.
you lose trust um
Yeah.
with the public. Like this happens so often. I think we just like roughly touched upon it in a previous episode, where there were further like Charlie Rose, I think, in the first episode and so forth. And
Mhm.
it's just, and we talk about how, did Hollywood ruin people? And I don't know whether it's just Hollywood ruining people, but I do feel like the best thing I can say is absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Is that your catchphrase?
No, that's like something from high school English, like about how power corrupts. And I feel like I don't want to blame the power because I think we're still ultimately responsible for our actions. But I
Mhm.
do think that anytime we put someone on a pedestal, we need to make sure we still hold them accountable to other people's, not other, just like to the same level of expectation of just being a good person. And that means not making it super hard that it's impossible for them to live their lives, right? Like
Mhm.
having lots of paparazzi stalking them, but also
Mhm.
we still hold them accountable for treating other people with respect, and
Mhm.
not, have doing crimes, right?
Mhm.
And they should still be accountable. And I think sometimes we let it slide when they have some degree of power, say they're a celebrity,
Mhm.
and they feel like they can get away with things, and that's how you find out after so many years this person has molested so many people. You find out about these allegations because they were able to wield the power of being a celebrity over
Mhm.
people to oppress them, to silence them. And it's also because as a society we take sometimes the word of victims less, we don't hold them to the same level as we
Mhm.
do people who are in these positions of power, and we don't often hold the people in power sometimes accountable. Now I know that's changing
Mhm.
with like cancel culture now, um in the fact that we're very quick to make sure after we hear someone doing something wrong to really make sure that they get justice. But I also think it's like we flipped the other way, not
Mhm.
completely enough. Like I think there's so many people whose voices haven't been heard and victims who haven't been heard, but there needs to be a balance in the court of public opinion and also with the legal system. Like we need to make sure everybody's held accountable for their actions.
Mhm.
But I also think that we need to make sure we give them some room to also be human and not constantly scrutinize someone, because that can be very frustrating. Melina, I've rambled for a long time. Please save me.
Yeah, it's definitely a tall order we're requesting of not just the celebrity, but also the industry and also the public, because the public can like also be pretty shitty to
Yes.
the celebrity people.
Yes.
We went from what was supposed to be a very cheery Christmas special to some very serious topics.
No, I'm sorry about that, audience. Like, warnings about that. But, it's a topic that has come up previously in the show, and I don't think we did it
Mhm.
justice in our previous episode. So I wanted to talk about that at least once and clear the air
Mhm.
to make sure that we're, being clear that, it's not something we're saying is okay. I think last time we were just like, oh, people are just bad in Hollywood. And I don't think that is enough of a message to send because it's not just Hollywood.
Mhm. It's like we only have so much time to like we do not have time to talk about everything on this podcast. Like we
Yes.
can go hours and hours on, but we know that you don't have time for that. We don't have time for that, so we can only boil it down to like a few statements. But that unfortunately, that doesn't cover everything.
Yeah,
All the
it doesn't
different
cover everything. In the
nuances.
30 minutes, we haven't done justice, but
Yeah.
when we're touching a topic, I just want to make sure it was clear. Um, and it was, yeah, I think that we were also brought up a good point, Melina, that a lot of the characters on the show have been through some things.
Mhm.
So far, we've only seen Sarah Lynn and Bojack, but
Mhm.
I think it'll be interesting to see how, and Herb,
And Herb, yes.
yes. So it'll be interesting to see whether anyone else has been impacted if we get to see them.
Well, we have 5 seasons to go. 5 seasons, right? Or is it 4 seasons?
6 seasons in total. We
Okay.
finished one.
Okay.
So 1 down, 5 to go. You were right.
Excellent.
Did you like the fact that Todd was watching this episode with Bojack?
I think that was very well. I think that was very wholesome.
Yeah.
Like he wanted to. He kept bugging BoJack, being like, "Hey, watch the show with me. Let's have some fun together.
Yeah.
Christmas, woo!" But I'm also like, so you're like the whole he ruining his opera thing. Like, did
Yeah.
this happen before that, or
I
was it
had the same
after?
thought because like it's same thought about this because I was thinking it's Christmas. How are you not mad at Bojack about this? Like I was trying to remember the timeline of the show and I think
Hmm.
this had to have happened before the last episode because the last episode they make it very clear it's January. Halloween in
Hmm.
January.
Yeah.
So I think this happened the December before or it had to have happened like a year completely after. You know what I mean?
True. Or maybe it could have been just a year before the whole show as well. Maybe.
Oh, true. It could also be the year before the whole show because they never mentioned Diane.
Yeah.
Diane's the new character in his life, like the new person.
Mhm. Mhm. That would make a lot more sense, I think,
Yeah.
timeline wise.
Because
Like,
why was Todd so happy to hang out with him? Because I'm shocked Todd is still living with him and not upset with him.
mhm,
Didn't even bring that up once.
and I'm like, I mean, I know you can like, you see the best in people, Todd, but this is a bit much.
Yeah. So you're no longer on the boat that Todd is completely hippie. You think he's a good person who sees the best in people? Just asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend. I mean, he can still be a hippie, and like, can't.
Yeah,
but
those are not mutually exclusive, but just curious what your thoughts are about Todd.
but he definitely does seem less hippie-ish now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, with everything going on. But good person.
He
He's
sees
an
the good in other
interesting
people. That's what you were saying.
person. He
Oh,
does
he's
see the good in yeah, other
yeah.
people. Like, even
Yeah.
when I remember there was like the episode where he was robbed by those robbers. Like,
Oh, yeah. He was
he
so
was
nice to them.
he was so nice to them. Hmm.
Okay, there's one thing about Todd this episode that made me think he's
Mhm.
not a good person, Melina.
Mhm.
One, I strongly dislike it when people eat food in bed. I think it's gross. I think that's how you get ants. That is, first of all, it's how you get ants. Let's just start there. Okay. Second, he spit some of the candy cane out. Like, I think it was a plastic wrapper for the candy cane, or was it the actual candy cane? Whatever it was. First, it was a giant ass candy cane. He went to the second, and it was on the wall, on the floor, then on the bed. That was disgusting. I'm sorry. Todd was very high on my list. I didn't realize he did that, but when I noticed it, I was like, this is disgusting.
I mean, I think there are times where he can be a bit of a messy person. Like when he lives up on Bojack's couch, like I think there's always like potato chips around and
That's true.
things around.
But like potato chips are very different from having like half chewed up spit. I'm sorry for listeners if this is too disgusting, but like it's half digested, right? Like your mouth digests stuff. And then it's his mouth juices all over the bed that Bojack sleeps on. Like, I'm sorry. Is that not disgusting?
I mean, if Bojack has the money, he would just go buy a new one.
That's true. He did buy a helicopter, a restaurant, and then like so many other random things. Right. He
They
can
keep
afford new
forgetting that he
sheets.
has money.
He has they keep doing a shot of his beautiful house, Melina. How do you forget?
it, it, I guess because it just doesn't come up in conversation.
He
It's like
also
he just.
brought up at the start of this episode the residual checks.
That is true.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
did. Basically promoting himself. It's like, I'll watch myself to make myself more money.
Exactly. We should be doing that to this podcast. I don't know if you know, guys, but Melina and I listen to ourselves.
All the new viewer listeners each time are just us.
It's just us listening to ourselves over and over again, hitting refresh. Those are all our YouTube views. Actually, it's not that far from the truth. We're very new. Please share and like and subscribe to our podcast right now if you think we're funny. If you like season 1, we'd love the boost. We're a new podcast. And so that Melina and I can stop listening to our own content.
But I love listening to your voice.
Oh, that's so nice, Melina. I love listening to your laugh. I feel like you're very insightful. So, that being said, I really liked this Christmas special. I thought it was really nice the way it ended with Sarah Lynn getting the personalized pencils, and she was so excited about that.
Oh yeah, like you don't need fancy schmancy princess something sets or
Yeah.
I forgot what else that she got.
I think it was a Magic Princess Pony set. I think that it was great that what she really wanted was something that was her own.
Yes.
That ending, I was like, oh, feels.
And then Bojack was like, "Hey Todd, do you want to watch some more with me?" And
Oh,
I was
I
like,
love that part
"Ah."
of the ending too. I also loved how Olivia got a helmet for she wanted to ride on the motorcycle of
Oh
one of the guys
yes.
from our high school,
Yes.
and he got her a helmet instead of a leather jacket. And I was like, feels.
Yes, that is better. What did Ethan get again?
He wanted winter socks because he's practical and smart.
I guess.
I'm not gonna lie, all my presents for the past few years that I've requested have been practical things I need. I wanted a drill.
Mhm.
This year I'm asking for a vacuum. Year
Mhm.
before that, I have just wanted socks. If at any point you just give me socks, I really appreciate it. How can you not, like, you can't have too many socks. If I have too many socks, they become like sock rags, right?
I guess. True. Well, I guess. I feel like I haven't gotten new socks in a while just because why haven't I gotten new socks in a while?
Since we're talking about socks, I have to plug the Awesome Socks Club.
Hmm?
So it is Hank Green started up. I don't know if you can enroll mid year, but every month I get a new pair of socks from this club. And I pay like $14, I think ish, something around that amount. And money goes to Partners in Health to help build the maternity ward in Sierra Leone. It is something the Vlogbrothers are creating, and as part of Nerdfighteria, the money goes to a good cause, and you get socks.
Yes, we will be adding a link to link to it in the episode if you want to check it out.
Yes.
So this is a wrap up for season 1, and we will be starting season 2 in the new year.
I hope you guys enjoyed the holiday spirit ending of the show special, as well as our holiday special ending. Merry Christmas, everyone!
Woo!
Yakkin About Bojack is produced, recorded, and edited by Melina and Aditi. Music is by Podcast Co's royalty-free album Keep Calm and Podcast, the song One Fine Day. All thoughts in this podcast are personal opinions. If you or someone you know is experiencing issues with addiction, substance abuse, or any of the topics mentioned in this episode, please know there is hope and seek professional help.